Welcome to our Trade to Developer podcast. My name is Suzanne Elsey.
My name is Craig Shields, and we've often been asked to share how we've transitioned from trade to developer. We're now ready to reveal all. This episode is going to be about one of our deals our first deal that we done in Ramsgate in Kent. I'll let you, Suzanne, start us off with how we got it.
So this was our first one. Initially, we needed to find a couple of investors that would help fund it so that we could buy something. Craig actually found the listing on the Clive Emerson website. It was going to auction. I believe that there was a delay in some paperwork, so it didn't actually make it into the auction. So it was still available after the auction had finished. We found a couple of investors. These were from our friends and family pool of people. First thing to do is find out who you know that might actually want to invest in you because they already know you, like you, and trust you. So that's what we did. And they're still investors with us today. Once we knew we had that funding, we were able to make an offer on that particular plot of land, which had planning permission. We went and took a look at it and actually bumped into the owner who was in his property next door and went off for a coffee. So that wouldn't have happened if we hadn't have sort of gone away from the desks and actually gone to site to have a look. So once we had the property, we were actually able to get on with the work there, and I'll let Craig explain what we did.
Yeah, next. Once we raised the investors' money, didn't we? Raised the investors' money to buy the land. We bought the land, then we approached a commercial broker about giving us the loan to do the build. So we had to do the calculations on what the build would be. We went to a commercial loan company which gave us 100% loan, because you can get 100% loans for build with planning permission. So we got a commercial loan company on board with 100% lending. So we got the loan in the bank, and that's only provided you with the proof of how much the works is going to cost. So we had to do a breakdown of the works of how much it's going to cost, and then each month QS comes out and releases payments to you. So that was where we were like replacing our day job that we were paying ourselves to do the build, and we was in control of the money, which was really good for us. Which was a big thing for us for when going from working for someone to working for ourselves, was we knew when we could ask for the money each month when we had our wages that needed to go out. So we had the investors on, we had the build loan company on board, and obviously then we carried out the build. The build was quite challenging. We actually done it through COVID, so it shut down through COVID, so we had no building supplies coming out. We couldn't get no electric or water switched on, so we done everything with a generator, and then we also used 1,000 litre tanks of water and carried in the back of trucks to fill up tanks on site. So we managed to get the build done through COVID, which was a block of 1-bedroom apartments, 3 on top of each other. So as we carried the deal out, the deal was done. It actually structured that when you do a buy-to-let mortgage, you can remortgage the property for 75% loan to value. So we got the mortgage enough to pay back our investors, get our investors' money back out of it, and to pay the commercial loan company back their build, which then allowed us to move on to our further projects. But obviously by doing that, we needed to get the 75% loan to value and then leave 25% equity in. So we done that, and we tried the bottom. This was a coastal building, so we tried the bottom flat as a service accommodation, and then we had the middle flat and the top flat as buy-to-lets, just on your single lets. The ground floor we done for about a year, I believe, Suzanne?
We did it for a year, and it actually made the same money as the buy-to-let. Yeah. So we felt that having a less noisy business would be better. So that's why we turned the bottom flat also into a buy-to-let as well, which has been running for the last 2 years now. And the top floor tenants are still the same tenants. The middle floor, they've just literally moved out because they found a home to buy. And the ground floor, we've just had someone else move in. It's taken us 7 years to make the transition from working with clients through to developing our own portfolio, and we can speed that up for you. If any of this resonates, please do register now and we can help you transition yourself from trade to developer in just 12 months.
Yeah, now we're looking to flip them onto a long-term lease rather than AST contracts. So rather than having a short-term contract with a buy-to-let, actually there's a lot of service providers out there now looking to take them on for emergency housing. That so for us, we're in about building the developments and then keeping them for long-term. So dealing with tenants on a month-to-month basis is quite stressful. So we've got a service provider now that will take on our properties, depending on areas, depending on the price, but we'll take on them properties for 5 years leases. So that's pretty much, we tried a few different strategies in there, didn't we, with these service accommodation, the buy-to-let, and they work, but for us, we would like it for long term and with less hassle, really. So they've been coming up to 3 years built now. So we're going to hand them over to a lease provider for 5 years. In 5 years' time, there's going to be some maintenance to do after 8 years, which is not bad after some new builds properties. So that's pretty much how we structured that first deal with the investors and the 100% loan. It was one of our nicest looking developments from the beginning to get on with. We had to change the appearance of the building at the beginning. It was rendered. We changed to brick, and Suzanne, you changed the layouts in there as well, didn't you? So
I did, yeah. Initially, when I viewed the plans, the ground floor, that you had to walk through the bedroom in order to get to the small courtyard out the back, and the living space was at the front. Also, the kitchen and the bathroom were on opposite sides, so from a drainage perspective, that wasn't particularly helpful. So by playing around with the layouts, I was able to flip that around. So the bedroom was actually a front, with the bathroom in the middle, and then the whole across the back was the lounge and kitchen and small dining area, which meant that you could actually exit the double doors straight onto the courtyard. And then upstairs, we actually, because we were changing the render to brick, we also added Juliet balconies and doors instead of just having windows. I've been in a few flats that have been built by other people, and they are so hot and you can't open any of the windows enough to get decent airflow in the summer. You literally feel like you're in a greenhouse. So it's quite important to me that we could open those doors for people's living experience, basically.
yeah, because I think the average one bedroom flat in that area is 120,000. We managed to reach 144,000 by changing the layouts and changing a few bits in there. So as we can do in the trade, we can change things as we know how much it's going to cost, and to a client it's going to be more difficult, isn't it? So but yeah, that deal worked really well, and the outcome of it was it's gone in our portfolio. Thank you all for listening, and thank you all for your support, and please subscribe to the upcoming podcasts.
Just remember the famous quote from Henry Ford: if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got.